Welcome to today's podcast. We are going to focus on IPAM, or AWS features that is very important when you want to delve into VPC world. In a few minutes, we are going to go step by step. How are we going to define our AWS IPAM? What are the different steps? And what do we expect once we have an IPAM deployed? Without further ado, what is an AWS IPAM? AWS IPAM is a service that provides centralized management for IP addresses across your AWS environment. It's designed to help organizations manage IP addresses efficiently by giving them a single, unified view of all IP spaces. Whether you are dealing with VPCs in multiple regions or handling IPv6 allocations, AWS IPAM simplifies these tasks, reducing the risk of conflicts and IP exhaustion. How does AWS IPAM work? You might ask. To use AWS IPAM, you need to select a specific region where your IPAM manager will be deployed. When you do, IPAM automatically creates two default scopes, one for private IP spaces and another for public IP spaces. These scopes are critical as they represent the highest level containers within IPAM. The private scope manages private addresses, while the public scope is designed for public addresses. Within these scopes, you create IPAM pools, which is a collection of contiguous IP ranges or CIDRs. These pools help you organize IP addresses based on your security, routing, and application needs. For instance, you can create separate pools for development and production environments, allowing for better isolation and management. What are the key benefits of AWS IPAM? It might be a question that you have in your mind. There are 4 key benefits for AWS IPAM. The number 1 is centralized IP management. AWS IPAM biggest advantage is centralized management. You can manage IP addresses from a single point, eliminating the need to configure IPs separately for each VPC or region. This prevents IP conflicts and ensures everything is organized and efficient. As number 2, automated IP allocation. IPAM can automatically allocate IP addresses using a predefined pools. It follows your organization CIDR policies, ensuring consistent IP allocation across all VPCs and accounts. This reduces manual errors and simplifies network management. As number 3, we have the real-time monitoring and visibility. IPAM provides real-time visibility into your IP usage. You can track available IP addresses, monitor usage pattern, and receive alerts to prevent IP exhaustion. This ensures that you always have the IP resources needed to scale your infrastructure. As number 4, the last one, enhance compliance and security. IPAM supports compliance by enforcing your organization IP allocation policies. You can set rules for how IPs are allocated, ensuring that your network configuration meets security and compliance standards. In the next few minutes, we are going to delve into the lab. So please stay focused and let's have some fun. Thank you and bye for now.
In the previous video, we saw what is IPAM Manager. We were able to go through the different definition, and we saw that we need to select a specific region when we want to create an IPAM Manager. So what we are going to do is to select the region where our IPAM Manager will reside. That will be the first step. So we have this one we are going to select. For my specific case, US East 1. Okay, perfect. In the AWS console, I'm going to type IPAM. Then, click on Amazon VPC Address Manager. Then, create IPAM. you need to pay attention here. You need to check this box so that you will be able to create your IPAM manager. As you can see, without that, everything is grayed out. So let's check the box. Perfect. We are going to work on free chairs. Okay? Awaiting the free chairs, there are only few actions that you can perform with this AWS IPAM. But that's enough to understand how it works. So let's add a name. Let's type test. Description. You need to select which region you want to discover. So there are a lot of things that you're going to be able to do. So but what we have to do right now is to select the region that you want to focus on. So I will select AUS 1 for Ireland. I will select as well AUS 3 for Paris. Another thing that I can select and that you need to see, you see our US East 1, North Virginia, is already selected. So the next one that's available is US East 2. That's the one that I would like as well to monitor. But you have the ability to monitor all of them. So by clicking Add All Region, but that's not our focus now. We only want to focus on 4 regions, as you can see. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then you can add some tag. That can be very useful in case you're using a virtual trust code. It's always good practice to have some tag. So you create your IPAM. Perfect. By clicking on Create IPAM. So your IPAM is well provisioned. As you can see here, you have create completed. Okay? But there is something that you need as well to remember. Remember, during our presentation, we said that whenever we create an IPAM, there will be 2 scopes that will be created by default. You have the public scope, which is here. You have the private scope as well. You can read love scope, but by default, those 2 will be created, as you can see here. Origin region are AWS region where the IPAM is allowed to manage IP address CIDR. So the IPAM only discover and monitors resources in the AWS region you've selected as operation region. Remember, so those will be the operation region and you'll be only able to monitor those region. Okay? The unassociated resource discovery is a resource discovery that has been associated with an IPAM. So when you create an IPAM, a default resource discovery is created for your IPAM and is associated with your IPAM automatically. So when you associate a resource discovery created by another IPAM with your IPAM, you can manage and monitor the IP addresses of accounts outside your AWS organization. It's very important. Okay? And you can see that it's a default association. Its click is written here is yes. Association state is completed, perfect. Resource discovery are active, so whatever we deploy in the previous region that we said will be able to be seen in this discovery. So we have there, they bring your own automation number. We won't focus on it. We have the tags as well. The next things that we have to do is to check. You see we have those 2 scopes I mentioned earlier. When you scroll to the right, you can see the state. You can see the type of scope. You can see that we have a private and public scopes. And how many ports do we have in each? 0 for now. Now the next things that we have to do is to create the ports. So what I'm going to do is to create ports. So by selecting in which scope I want to create the ports, I will choose the private one because in a public, you will see, whenever we choose public, we won't be able to provision public IP address because it will require a lot of things that we are not able to have within the free chairs. But let's go with private scope. Okay, so this is the private scope. Perfect. Then we will put the name IPAM private. IPAM private scope port. Okay, the port hierarchy. very important. So whenever you create a port, you're going to have some hierarchy. And hierarchy has been shown in the previous video where we describe how the hierarchy works. In the sense that you have some port that will be at the top, and you can have sub-port that we use the CIDR that was previously defined. I mean by that, if you have, for instance, the 10.0.0/16, okay, you can have other ports that we take values from that range of addresses. So you have some sub-pool that will be, for instance, 10.0.0/18, you see, is reading this previous port. So that's why we have some hierarchy. So I will select the IPAM. Yeah, if it was not the free chairs, I could have selected as well this part. But this one is grayed out, okay? But the only option that we have here in the free chairs is use the IPv6. Also, the resource plan IP space within the scope, you see? This one is only available, okay? So the local, very important as well. So the local will be where our port will reside. Resources can only get IP address allocation from the port. We need the port's local. So that's why we need to select a specific region, you see? We use this one. Then we have the CIDR to provision. So choose the CIDRs you want to provision for this port. If you do not provision CIDRs for the port, when you create the port, you can add them later by modifying the port's setting. And ULA nest mask. Okay? So I have /48 here. It's quite a lot of addresses. So when you go here, let's go to /48. Again, /48. As you can see, we have 10^24 IP addresses. That's quite a lot. So that will be enough for our specific case. Okay, you have now to specify the different values. So I will create the port. By creating the port, CIDR with next max. Perfect. We are here. So the port that we created is well provisioned and it's written here. ID of the port. You can also find it here. Okay, let's come back to the pool details. Have the scope type here is private. And what type of address do you want to manage is IPv6 address. Then, automatically import discover resources is no. If you remember, it was not possible to put yes within the features. So we have the IP space visual as well that's not yet available. The CIDRs are here. Okay, allocation, compliance. Are we within the mask, the net max, the minimum, the maximum that was shown in the previous section? We have the resource sharing. We share the element that have been shared to our account. Okay, so as we might be in some organization, so abbreviate OU, we might have some resources that have been shared in such a way that our account will be able to see that. Our other accounts as well. So if you have some resources that have been shared through the service known as RAM, if you remember, you will be able to see it here. So resource share RN, okay? Every tax, the poor RN. Okay, let's go back to the EPAM. So we have it here. Perfect. It's written there. So what we are going to do now, as we already have the EPAM, we are going to test. Are we able to create a VPC that we take advantage of the EPAM? That's the question. So to do that, we are going to click here on VPC. Okay? Let's click on VPC. So there is no VPC already created. Nothing. So what we are going to do is click on create VPC. The console, VPC only. Let's type test. IPAM allocated IPv4 CIDR block. Perfect. But do you remember, it was not available in your free chairs, so we cannot choose this option. So what we are going to do for now is to manually enter the CIDR block. So I'm going to say 10.0.0.0/16. What was available within the free chairs is to deal with the IPv6. So what we are going to do is to click here on IPAM allocated IPv6 CIDR block. Then what we are going to do is to select the port. Perfect. This is private port. And do remember, we choose the /48. Is the net max length. What we are going to do now is we select 52. It's our goal here. By selecting 52, is to see how much percentage has been used already in the IPAM Manager console. So the tendency we remain default, and we click on Print VPC. This is successful. You see here we had IPv4 CIDR that we manually enter, and we have here IPv6 port that comes from IPAM Manager. Okay. Next, let's check the CIDRs. Perfect. You see, we have IPv6 CIDRs. Yeah. Here we go. We select /52. We selected /52. We are going to go back to IPAM Manager. Okay. IPAM Manager. IPAM Manager. Perfect. What we are going to do next is to go to IPAMs. Okay. Select the IPAM that we have. This one. Let's go to Association. Is there? Okay. Discovery. We have this one. You see, we have IP allocated. We can see how many IPs has been already allocated. Monitor the VPCs that has been already deployed. So within the different region, the AWS one, we have some VPC there. Okay, perfect. Is able to discover what are the VPC that has been created in the C region that we previously selected. To remember. So this we able to really to monitor and to know how much IPs are still available. This is the account number, and those are the region that we mentioned earlier. Okay, the branching region, those are this one. The resource sharing, we have nothing. How much IPs has been used by our VPC. So when we go to the port, we select the port, we click here, IPAM, perfect. You can see that there is some percentage, okay? Remember, we had /48, it was VC2 that we selected, and we can see the amount of IP address that has been used. As you can see here, you have how much left? Available we have 94, so we use 6% by creating our VPC. Okay? So the more we create VPC, the more the value we reduce. You can also take advantage of CloudWatch in such a way that by the power of the event-driven, if the ports are already full at some percentage, okay? So let's see percentage of utilization, breach 60%. So if like here is 6%, right? Assignment. But if it's already 60%, please provision a new port. If you're interested in how to perform those actions, please write down in the comment. You can answer as well to other questions so that we can see some dynamic. But don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you, and bye for now.